guys, Takuda the Wolf here. Welcome back to the Wolfang Formations Lab. Today we're going to be doing some more work on Mark V Mjolnir suit from the video game franchise Halo. Today we're going to be working on the torso while we're waiting on parts to finish up the helmet. I thought you guys would want to see a little bit of work done on the chest plate. If anyone's wondering what I do with the rolls of filament that I really can't print anything big with, and I really don't like this color for smaller projects just because, well, it's a matte white. It holds paint good, but I don't like to paint my smaller projects. I like painting those in the colors that they'll be finalized in. Like this Pokeball. Let's get started. Ow. And I was expecting to do that. Oh well, I knew it was probably going to crack somewhere, but that's what we have sand and filler for. You won't be able to see these lines once the project's done. I don't like to crack things. I like having them in one piece. But if I can repair it, I will. As ugly as that looks, it will look a lot better once it's all put together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this scrap and use it as a jig, kind of hold it together a little bit. I'll pop that, all the other stragglers in between. I know it's removing material, but you'll see in just a minute we'll be adding material. Pro tip, make sure humidity is down in the room that you are printing in, or you will end up with layers that don't bond correctly. Like you can see that there's this gap right there now, but I'm not too worried about it. Let's sync these together, line it up. Alright, so first I'm going to tack this back together because there's this nice little seam that opened up on that. Just going to put a couple tacks of hot plastic on there. This is going to be ugly. As I'm getting it tacked in, but hopefully my welding skills have not eluded me. If you're welding, try to use different colored plastic than the one that you're using, just so you can kind of see where it melds and where it doesn't. Like, now you can see that split. You can still see where it was, but it ain't going nowhere. Pull this thread out. There's a bit right here that needed it. There's going to be this little warble here that's going to get fixed with, well, I coat everything with putty to hide layer lines. I'm going to get this fixed up before I reattach it to the other part. You can use super glue for this, but you're not going to get very far at a con with the super glue seams unless it's something small like a helmet. I wouldn't be doing this with a torch, but I cannot find the soldering iron that I use for this for the life of me. And, well, content don't wait, you know. Always go through and double check lines that you think are cracked. Hold them up to the light. If you think you see a little something, make sure you double up on those because those are weak spots in your print. And for something that's going to be worn, and I know my client, he's not exactly the most graceful guy on the planet. Press it while it's still warm. Oops. One thing I don't like about not square parts is they tend to bounce or rock, so you have to steady it as you're going. I know these welds are ugly, but right now I'm not caring about beauty because this is all in the back. You don't see any of that from the front. Plus it's going to be painted. Dip, 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 dip. The only thing I don't like about doing this is sometimes your prints can become a little warped as you work on them, but that's fine. I'm going to go with an old technique. It's like brazing. This is sort of my fault, the reason why it turned out this way. I wanted the armor to be kind of lighter, so I didn't do 100% infill on most of these parts. Let me just show you exactly what's going on back here. All the ones that I welded already are strengthened. There's a couple right here I'm going to just tack because it's mostly sealed together once I add the E6000. There's this huge gap from where I pulled a bunch of strung and misplaced filament. That's why the entire thing was so weak, but it's a lot harder now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up and put some tacks along the back. I messed up big time right here. Ow. But I don't know if you guys can see that right there. But that's why sandpaper was invented. Now I got one more major crack to patch on this piece. Then I got crack on this one to piece back together. A small crack right there. Neat little torch. Honestly, it's like toasting a marshmallow. It may not look that good, but it's solid once again. Because I decided just to cheap out and just fuse the back together instead of laying a bit of wire down it. It warped a little bit on the front, but once again, whatever. It's going to get a full layer and I'll be able to fix that when we do the putty. Now there's one crack right here that I need to fix. So now that's all re-strengthened and put back together. I know it doesn't look that good right now, but I promise you, by the time it's done, you won't be able to even see any of these errors. They're all going to be sanded and filled. We're going to have that nice, pretty blue that the helmet has. But really good is for one of them plastic welders. They just hold the gun, it heats up. But it's not the prettiest job. But for something that I know isn't going to be just walked around in, I'm very confident it'll hold. I'm going to finish a couple more areas underneath. Unfortunately, like marshmallows, they are also sticky. I just burned the crap out of my finger. Honestly, what I want to do eventually is I want to make a steel version of this with sand casting. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me put this together. I know it's not a complete video, but while I'm waiting for parts for the helmet video to finish printing, I thought, you know what, let's just see a little bit that I'm not sitting on my duff doing nothing. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a lot more than meets the eye to this stuff. Alright. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, if you can think it, you can take it.